overwhelmed by the realness of life for people like us. There was something deeply, terribly wrong, something much bigger than a house or a sugarcane factory or Louisiana itself. I didn't know how to change it, but I knew Mommy struggled with her reading, so I eagerly learned to read, wanting to help her. We played school at her kitchen table. That was education for my grandmother. My mother went to a segregated school. My big sisters went to integrated public schools. I went to an all-black Catholic school, and now you go to a mostly white laboratory school where they test drive advances in education theory and technology. I wonder what Mommy would say if she could see the computers and green spaces. I want to celebrate that arc, but the fact of how far we've come only serves to highlight how far back we started and how far we've yet to go, one circle engulfed by another. The day you were born, I saw Lisa take up the mantle of a black grandmother, and I understood something I was too little to know about Mommy. I saw the protective stance of my sister, the power of her tenderness, the ferocity of her love, and I felt the embrace of all these formidable women who hold our family in their arms. From the moment of my birth, they sheltered me. From the moment of your birth, I was wise enough to know the preciousness of that stronghold and the price they paid for it. True, the man who died, his name was George. He begged for that embrace when he could no longer beg for breath. He called for his mama as he felt the last of his life unravel. The last thread left between his body and soul was love. And as terrible as that was to witness, it spurred a tidal swell of love in me. For my mama, for Mommy, for my sisters, for you, True, and for your little cousin, Cairo. Weeping, rage, blame, promises, complacency. If our last honest breath is not love, I don't know how we live to fight through it all again. I need to believe we'll wake up, rise up, and stay standing this time. My greatest fear is that the world will jade itself and grow numb, that the death rattle of a man who looks like you and me will no longer move the world to tears, that there will be no tears left, no purifying rage, no chafing blame, no hopeful promise, only the wax museum visage of complacency. You're old enough to know what's going on, approaching the precipice where you'll begin to understand. Soon you'll see the difference between those who preach, those who march, and those who maintain a deferential silence while the bullhorn of racism blares the same foul tropes it's been sounding for 400 years. I promise you, True, because I love you, I will not stand among the silent. Silence is no longer an option. Chapter 1. Do I But Dream? A comfortable 2-hour drive from the Midtown headquarters of CNN, not far from the Sag Harbor home I share with my fiancé Tim, a truncated boardwalk path cuts through the dune grass and gives way to tawny sand on the beach at Sag Harbor Bay. A stone marker at the trailhead honors the founder of this extraordinary enclave, an African-American neighborhood on prime beachfront real estate. In grateful recognition of Maud K. Terry, it says, "Do I but dream." Docile green waves lap at the shore where indigenous people, the Shinnecock, withstood bleak pre-Columbian winters and bloody raids by the neighboring Pequot until Europeans arrived on the continent in the 1500s, bringing Bibles and smallpox. The Shinnecock had no immunity to the virus, of course, and little energy left over to resist the Holy Spirit. 2/3 of their population was wiped out within a few years. Able-bodied survivors went to work on Melville-esque whaling vessels, some of which were outfitted for the clandestine purpose of blackbirding, the acquisition, by coercion or outright kidnapping of indigenous people from faraway islands and coastal regions to labor on cotton and sugar plantations in Europe and the colonies. In July 1619, legislative representatives from 11 large New World settlements met in Jamestown, Virginia, to establish the standards and practices that would lay a foundation for the democracy they aspired to build. 1 month later, at nearby Point Comfort, about 24 Angolan men and women were offloaded and sold by Portuguese slave traders. Thus, the dream of democracy and the nightmare of slavery